trade between Pakistan and Bangladesh stands at a pivotal moment, defined by a mix of remarkable growth, persistent imbalances, and new beginnings after years of limited engagement. As of 2025, the economic relationship between these two populous South Asian nations is experiencing a revival, with both countries rediscovering the mutual benefits and challenges that shape their trade landscape. To understand the current state of Pakistan-Bangladesh trade, it is essential to look closely at the numbers, the commodities involved, and the dynamics underlying these exchanges. For the full year 2024, Pakistan's exports to Bangladesh reached approximately $778.11 million. This figure represents more than just a statistical milestone. It signifies a sharp upward trajectory, as evidenced by the 21.45% increase in exports during the first half of fiscal year 2025, July to December, where Pakistani exports to Bangladesh surged to $728.31 million, compared to $599.65 million during the same period in the previous year. The story of what Pakistan sends to Bangladesh is dominated by a few key commodities. Foremost among these is cotton and its allied textile products, which accounted for a staggering $594 million of the export value in 24. Cotton is the lifeblood of Bangladesh's garment industry, and in recent months, this reliance has only deepened. Severe floods and ongoing protest backlogs have triggered acute cotton shortages in Bangladesh, making Pakistani cotton more vital than ever. Alongside cotton, Pakistan's other significant exports include salt and related materials, valued at $53 million, inorganic chemicals, contributing $30 million, sugars at $12 million, cereals at $11 million, and man-made fibers at $10.6 million. Machinery and various chemicals also play a role, but it is the textile and agricultural raw materials that truly anchor the bilateral trade relationship. On the other side of the trade ledger, Bangladesh's exports to Pakistan are comparatively modest. During the first half of FY25, from July to December, Bangladesh shipped goods worth just $39.77 million to Pakistan. For the entire fiscal year 2023 to 24, the number reached $61.98 million, a decline from $83.59 million in the preceding year. This downward trend highlights the persistent trade imbalance, with Pakistan exporting approximately 12 to 20 times more to Bangladesh than it imports in return. Bangladesh's main exports to Pakistan include jute and textile fibers, long-standing staples of the country's export profile, alongside raw tobacco, pharmaceuticals, and hydrogen peroxide. Despite the limited scale, these commodities represent sectors where Bangladesh possesses both expertise and competitive advantage. Yet the overall value remains small relative to Pakistan's exports, and the trade deficit persists year after year. In the broader context of Bangladesh's economy, imports from Pakistan made up about 1% of the country's total imports in FY24, with total imports from Pakistan for that year standing at $627.8 million. The relationship is thus characterized by a robust surplus in Pakistan's favor, a structural feature that has defined the trade pattern for much of the past decade. Despite this pronounced imbalance, recent years have witnessed significant milestones in economic cooperation. The most symbolic of these is the resumption of direct trade between the two countries after decades of the dormancy. Early in 2025, a government-to-government rice export involving a shipment of 26,000 tons marked the first such transaction in nearly 20 years. This step was more than a logistical achievement. It signaled renewed diplomatic engagement and the willingness of both governments to address long-standing barriers and explore new opportunities for collaboration. The resumption of direct cargo shipping routes, with a vessel sailing from Pakistan to Bangladesh for the first time in decades, further underscores this commitment to revitalizing bilateral commerce. These actions are not merely ceremonial. They have practical implications for reducing transport costs, shortening delivery times, and fostering greater business-to-business connectivity. Behind these headline developments lies a more complex set of challenges and opportunities. Non-tariff barriers and tariff disparities have long hindered the free flow of goods between the two countries. Despite the surge in trade volumes, analysts note that Pakistan's potential exports to Bangladesh could reach as high as $2.95 billion, far above current levels. This figure highlights the vast, untapped opportunity. In sectors ranging from textiles and agriculture to chemicals and base metals, efforts to unlock this potential are already underway. In January 2025, the Federation of Pakistan Chambers of Commerce and Industry, FPCCI, and the Federation of Bangladesh Chambers of Commerce and Industry, FBCCI, signed a Memorandum of Understanding to establish the Pakistan-Bangladesh Joint Business Council, PBJBC. This council aims to diversify and deepen bilateral trade, with targeted focus on areas such as agriculture, cement, leather goods, surgical instruments, chemicals, information technology, and public health management. These institutional frameworks are complemented by a growing recognition of shared opportunities. Joint ventures have been proposed in industries such as cement and pharmaceuticals, while both sides see promise in leveraging Bangladesh's need for reliable supplies of key commodities. Women entrepreneurs, often overlooked in traditional trade arrangements, are increasingly being empowered to play a role in cross-border commerce, further enhancing the potential for inclusive growth. The momentum generated by these diplomatic and business initiatives is reflected in the recent crossing of a symbolic threshold. In 2023, trade volumes between Pakistan and Bangladesh surpassed the US $1 billion mark. This achievement, after years of stagnation, points to the resilience of economic ties and the appetite for greater engagement. Yet, the path forward is not without hurdles. Persistent trade imbalances remain a source of concern, particularly for Bangladesh, which seeks to expand its share of the bilateral trade pie. Addressing these imbalances will require more than just headline agreements. It will demand concrete action to reduce tariffs, eliminate non-tariff barriers, and streamline customs procedures. There is also a need to diversify the range of products traded. While cotton and textiles dominate current flows, both countries have strengths in other sectors that remain underexploited. Bangladesh's pharmaceutical industry, for example, is well positioned to supply affordable medicines to Pakistan's growing population, while Pakistan's agricultural and processed food sectors could find ready markets in Bangladesh, especially if logistical and regulatory hurdles are addressed. Transport and logistics infrastructure remains another critical area for improvement. The resumption of direct shipping routes is a step in the right direction, but further investments are needed to upgrade ports, enhance warehousing capacity, and facilitate efficient land and sea transport. Improved connectivity will not only lower transaction costs, but also encourage small and medium enterprises to participate in cross-border trade. Looking ahead, policymakers in both countries are exploring the possibility of a free trade agreement, FTA, or a preferential trade agreement, PTA, which could provide a framework for reducing tariffs and boosting trade in underrepresented sectors. The success of such agreements will depend on the willingness of both sides to address sensitive issues and foster a spirit of partnership. The benefits of deeper trade ties extend beyond economic growth. Enhanced cooperation can contribute to regional stability, support job creation, and improve consumer choice in both countries. For Bangladesh, a more diversified import base reduces vulnerability to supply shocks, while Pakistani exporters gain access to one of the world's fastest-growing consumer markets. Recent challenges, such as the cotton shortage faced by Bangladesh's garment industry due to severe flooding, illustrate the practical importance of resilient trade relationships. In times of crisis, access to reliable suppliers and efficient logistics can make the difference between business continuity and production standstills. Pakistan's ability to meet Bangladesh's immediate needs underscores the interdependence that trade fosters, a reality that is likely to become even more pronounced as both countries confront the uncertainties of a changing global economy. For business leaders and policymakers, the message is clear. While the foundation has been laid for a new era of Pakistan-Bangladesh trade, much work remains to be done. By building on recent progress, addressing structural barriers, and seizing the opportunities presented by shared interests, both countries can reap the rewards of closer economic integration. In summary, the current pattern of Pakistan-Bangladesh trade is characterized by robust growth, persistent imbalance, and renewed momentum. Pakistan enjoys a strong trade surplus, driven primarily by exports of cotton and related products, while Bangladesh remains a smaller but significant supplier of jute, pharmaceuticals, and specialty chemicals. Recent diplomatic initiatives, direct shipping routes, and institutional partnerships have set the stage for a deeper and more diversified relationship. The challenge now is to transform this momentum into sustainable, balanced, and mutually beneficial trade, unlocking the potential of two dynamic economies at the heart of South Asia.